Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into one of my favorite things in the Writer's Toolkit, a super powerful and, honestly, beautiful device called the Simile.
All right, so let me ask you something. What in the world do a fireplace, a lion, and a late winter's moon have in common? I know, it sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? But the answer is actually a simple literary trick that I promise once you get it, you're going to see it everywhere. So let's solve that little riddle. The key is understanding this core concept. What exactly is a simile?
Okay, at its heart, it's actually super simple. A simile is just a way to compare two totally different things. And the two magic words that make it all happen? Like or as. Those are the words that build the bridge between the two ideas. Yeah, you can pretty much think of it like a simple recipe. You take thing A, you add your special ingredient, either like or as, and then you mix it with a completely different thing B. And boom, that's your formula.
All right, so we've got the definition, we've got the formula, but how do you actually find these things out in the wild, in a book or a poem? Let's break down how you can become a total pro at spotting similes.
It's a really easy three-step trick. First, you're on the lookout for those two magic words, like or as. That's your first clue. Step 2, and this is super important, you have to check that the two things being compared are actually unlike things. And finally, just ask yourself, does this create a cool picture in my head? If the answer is yes, you've probably got a simile on your hands.
Okay, let's really drill down on that second step because it's the one people trip up on. If you say, he is as tall as his brother, well, you're comparing two similar things, right? Two people. That's just a simple comparison, not a simile. But if you say, he is as brave as a lion, now we're talking. You're connecting a human trait to a totally different kind of being, a lion, to paint a much, much more powerful picture. See the difference?
So we know what they are, we know how to find them, but so what? What's the big deal? Why do writers even bother? Well, let's get into the real power behind this little device.
Oh, there are a ton of reasons. Similes make the images literally jump off the page. They help you, the reader, see things in your mind's eye with amazing clarity. And they can take these huge abstract ideas, I'm talking love, fear, loneliness, and make them feel solid and understandable. And on top of all that, they just add so much beauty and emotion, making the writing feel way more relatable.
Okay, enough theory. The best way to really get this is to see it in action. So let's check out a few examples from some really famous poems. First up, from The Tale of Custard the Dragon, the line is, "Mouth like a fireplace." I mean, you instantly get a picture, right? It's not just a mouth anymore. Now it's a place of heat, of danger, maybe even billowing smoke. That one little comparison does so much heavy lifting.
Here's a classic you've probably heard from Wordsworth's Daffodils, "Lonely as a cloud." Think about that. He doesn't just say, "I was lonely." No, he gives you this perfect image of one single cloud just floating by itself, way above everything. It just perfectly captures that specific feeling of being separate and alone.
And listen, similes aren't always about pretty flowers and clouds. They can pack a serious emotional punch. Check this one out. Her face ashen like that of a corpse. Wow, that comparison is so harsh, so shocking, you immediately feel the speaker's terror, that sudden raw fear of losing her mother. It just hits you right in the gut.
And from that exact same poem, we get another one, "Pale as a late winter's moon." Now, this is also describing the mother's face, but notice how different the feeling is. It's not a gut punch. It's more sad, kind of quiet. It suggests something fading away, something cold and distant, but also kind of fragile and beautiful. Okay, so this is all really cool for just enjoying poetry, but how do you use this, for real? Let's talk about how you can take what we've learned and use it to sound like a genius when you're analyzing literature, say for an exam.
I'm actually going to give you a little secret weapon right now. A ready-to-use framework that'll make you sound like an absolute pro every single time you need to talk about a simile. Here it is. This is the template. All you have to do is plug the simile you found right into the blank spaces. So for example, the poet uses a simile, "mouth like a fireplace," to create vivid imagery and help the reader visualize the scene more clearly. See? Using a sentence like this shows you didn't just find the simile, it shows you understand why the author put it there in the first place. That's the key.
And there you have it. We've covered what a simile is, how to hunt for them, and you even have a killer template to use for your analysis. So I'll just leave you with this one last question. You've got the formula now. So what's the world like to you?